Moving on with this video, today we're going to have another talk about the EFS module and just overall talk about how I think it's been implemented and maybe some suggestions on how to improve it. So as we know, when EFS first became a thing, I obviously covered it in a video talking about it and gave my opinion and my 2 cents on how I think it should be implemented. And obviously it's been quite a while since we've had that happen. So I figured I'd do a little update and also talk about some of the things that either don't make sense, are perfectly fine to add in and continue adding in, and really just go from there. So I'm going to start off with the good things. So obviously with this sort of thing, there is obviously going to be a benefit to a lot of aircraft, such as twin-engined attack aircraft and twin-engined aircraft in general, like this PBJ, and of course, four-engined heavy bombers, such as B-17s and the like. Now, I think this is a good change, because a lot of these aircraft in the Second World War did have access to these. Now, obviously, I don't have any to hand, like which ones did and which ones didn't, but I definitely think these vehicles should continue getting them. This is where the development time of EFS should go into. We don't really need anything single-engined getting EFS, but unfortunately it seems Gaijin has been neglecting that, and there hasn't been a whole lot of twin-engine vehicles getting, well, twin-engine and four-engine, getting EFS recently. To name off a few, we've had the Potez family, we've also had the HE-177, which kind of needed it, and that's really it. There's not really been a huge amount in terms of EFS respading that has been for the benefit, really, because the vast majority of it is single engine, like this OS2U here. And the thing is that whilst it is a good idea on paper to give these vehicles EFS, the problem is it doesn't really benefit them, because chances are if your engine's on fire and it's been knocked out, or if it's on fire and it's not knocked out, the fire extinguishing system will destroy the engine anyway. And not only that, there is also the additional fact that, well, you're probably too far from your airfield to glide back, and especially in something like a Kingfisher. So, is there really a point to this? To waste development time giving us EFS on a Kingfisher and things like that? And it's not just this plane as well. If we go over to France, there's a few candidates over here, like the D500, the Pallia's D510. Like, obviously, I didn't even realize till this morning, actually, that I had to respade Pallia's, but that's only because I got this vehicle. It's one of those where, for some reason, Gaijin seems to have a bit of a thing where if you technically didn't buy it, you have to grind the module. So, for example, Gala's F3F, I got that as one of those login bonuses that people did. And with Pallia's, I got it when the French Air Tree was first released. So technically, I didn't buy this aircraft. For some reason, they just seem to do that. So I'm going to have to take Pallia's out later once I've discussed it. But the thing is that these vehicles are very vulnerable to fires in their engine. And yeah, that's a benefit. It would, well, you'd think it would be a benefit. The engine can now be extinguished and you can now go about your day. The problem is the vast majority of the time you're too far from your airfield to make use of that. You're just delaying the inevitable, and chances are the opponent, if they see you put the fire out, they are going to continue to shoot you. This isn't necessary. We don't need EFS on single engine aircraft. It is very unlikely that it is going to be of a huge benefit to you. Same story for things like the MS405 family. You may remember in the HE112 video where I engaged a MS410 and set his engine on fire. What's he going to do? Is he going to put it out and glide 200 feet and then crash? What's the point of adding it in if it's going to have very, very little use? Why don't we focus the development time on things that do need it? And like I said, with twin-engine aircraft like the Martin 167 and the Potez 633, I have no issue with this. Same on the F222. This is a four-engine heavy bomber. This really has no problem. But it's when you give it to single-engine fighters that I have a problem with, because, as I said, the vast majority of the time you are not going to get to use this. And sure, if you're a bomber zombie and you've followed a bomber all the way over to your airfield, Sure, you'd be able to use it then, but for a specific circumstance, which you really shouldn't be doing anyway, because bomber zombing is not helping anyone, is that really worth the development time? If you think about it, I know a lot of people would just say, "Oh, it's just copy and paste." There's a little bit more to it than just that because it's very different for just taking a module and putting it on another plane. There's a lot of things you have to do for that. I just think, in my personal opinion, the development time could have been used for a lot more benefit, such as adding in the EFS for stuff like the MB175 family. Like, I'm fairly certain these aircraft did have this. The NC223, I find it very hard to believe that the F222 has it and this doesn't. Things like that, really. Like, there's a lot of aircraft in the game that could benefit from this, but they're just not doing it. They're focusing on single engined aircraft. And to me, that's just a waste of time. If you're going to focus on something like that, I mean, sure, we might need EFS on these single engine fighters eventually anyway, because they want to add in as much as they can. But why don't you leave that till last and focus on the vehicles that do need it? But that's how I see it. And not only that, Gaijin, could you please fix your code? Because why should I have to respay a premium? We've never had this issue, and it just seems to be cropping up recently. I think I've never had to respay a premium. Because typically, whenever you get a premium, even if a new module is added to it, you don't have to respade it. I've had to respade Gala's F3F, and now I have to respade this. But, well, Gaijin's code is just Gaijin's code. I can't really tell them to fix their code. But the important thing is going back to these twin engine and four engine vehicles, such as the PBJ and the B-17. These need it more than single engine Kingfishers and things like that. Focus on developing EFS for these types of vehicles if it had it historically. Don't give it fantasy crap. We don't need any more of that. We've already got 288s putting out 4.5s in one go at times. And do not give EFS to that thing. Trust me, it does not need it. The point is I personally think we need to focus more on twin engine and four engined aircraft. If you want to do the single engine aircraft, do it last. Focus on the vehicles that desperately need it. But that's my opinion. Now, of course, when it comes to that, it obviously isn't a simple job, and obviously people might not agree with me. So in the comments below, I want you to let me know. Do you agree with me that we should have twin-engine aircraft and four-engine aircraft getting a focus? Or should it be single-engine aircraft, which, in my personal opinion, you're going to be very unlikely to use it. And there's been times where I've been able to extinguish a fire in a twin-engine aircraft, fly back home, repair, get another EFS module back into the plane, because, yeah, it does reset once you repair, and go from there. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this brief discussion about EFS, and me discussing also Gaijin's code, because it's crap, but that's nothing new. And, like I said, let me know in the comments below what you think. Anywho, I'll leave you all to it for today. I hope to see you all on the next one, and hopefully Gaijin might just listen to me about this. See you all later.